Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for what is going to be a short and sweet Cardano video. Really, I want to talk about one subject and one subject alone in this video, and that is why I believe Cardano is going to be unstoppable. Cardano receives a lot of flack. I think in some cases, maybe there's a little bit of warrant, but in most cases, it's just ignorance. And certainly from communities such as the Ethereum community, which, by the way, I'm also a fan of Ethereum. I think Ethereum is great. I think we all owe Vitalik and the original builders, which Charles Hoskinson was a part of, a lot, you know, as people now in this industry that Ethereum really fathered, you know, the whole smart contract concept. However, what these people in Ethereum don't realize is that a lot of the principles that Ethereum is now implementing, Cardano had actually beat them to in regards to the idea and coming up with papers, looking at moving forward, shipping them like layer 2s and side chains. You know, I actually believe, and this is the sole reason why I believe Cardano is going to be unstoppable and be a major player and probably proven as one of the right cryptos to have invested in over the long term, is simply because of this thing called Ouroboros, the beating heart of Cardano. Cardano was never meant to be one chain. And actually what Ouroboros allows is the facilities to solve pretty much all of the blockchain problems that we have today, like interoperability, like scalability, and the ones that we're likely to incur moving forwards. And this is the really interesting thing about Cardano, is it is built really with two things in mind. That's peer reviewing and future-proofing. And this is why Cardano, first proof of stake concepts in regards to a blockchain, and now you can see even Ethereum's moved over to proof of stake. And actually, as a big fan of Polkadot and Cardano are similar, and that's going to sound crazy. And what I mean by that, Polkadot Layer 0, the relay chain, that is Ouroboros in a sense. It's very different in terms of how it works, but what you have with Polkadot is you have all these layer 1s that build on top of the layer 0. With Cardano, you can have all these layer 2s that use and secure themselves with Ouroboros that are built on top of it in an easy manner. You know, this is a problem that's still being solved, the layer 2 solutions. However, Cardano's thought about a lot of this, IOHK certainly, and published a lot of papers on it prior. And actually, this is what's going to make Cardano unstoppable. And we'll get into it all. I want to start off by playing a clip of Charles Hoskinson. This, of course, is the famous whiteboard clip. Back, I think this was 2018. And you'll notice that, certainly if you watch this, I'll leave a link to it in the description, a lot of the concepts that are spoken about here and that have been spoken about for a while over at Cardano, a lot of blockchains are now using today. Cardano, when they set out, and one of the big criticisms has been slow to market. It's been slow to market because the task that they've tried to or are trying to achieve in terms of shipping this blockchain is colossal. And it could be colossally brilliant, in my opinion, if it all comes to fruition. So let's start the video off, guys, by playing this clip. Let's talk about it and let's really understand, you know, Cardano, a network of blockchains, essentially, is what I would call it. And actually, this is still a sort of new concept to me. You know, as a Cardano holder, were you aware that actually Cardano is far more than just this layer 1 and was always built to be, you know, a multi-chain ecosystem?
So, Cardano, what we're trying to do is figure out ways to solve these problems in a very elegant way. Namely, that as we add people to the network, we naturally get more transactions per second, we get more network resources, and eventually we'll get more available overall data storage without compromising our security model. So let's talk a little bit about some of the innovations we've already brought, namely with the throughput. We've developed a peer-reviewed white paper for our provably secure proof-of-stake protocol. Called Ouroboros. And Ouroboros is among one of the most efficient consensus protocols in the cryptocurrency space, and it's the first to actually be proven secure in a very rigorous cryptographic way. The magic of Ouroboros is that it's been designed in a modular way, and it's been designed with future-proofing in its DNA. So, namely, how Ouroboros works is Ouroboros breaks the world into epochs.
I do apologize for those of you that are very aware of how Ouroboros works. Always good to recap. But actually, Ouroboros is the magic of Cardano. Because what you can do with Ouroboros is almost scary. You know, it's infinitely, the possibilities are infinite in terms of what you can do and what the problems you can solve with it. Like, for example, developers not being Haskell familiar. Well, you have an EVM chain now, and look at what Multimedia are doing. You know, storage, you could create a side chain or a layer 2 to deal with that utilizes Ouroboros and is validated in the same way that the layer 1 is, with all the security assurance as the layer 1. But you can have a layer 2 that does a separate thing, but can interoperate with Cardano and the wider ecosystem. You know, you can see it becomes like a stacked blockchain eventually. And the good news is it's still very early days. This is all largely still to come. We do have a Hydra head live. We've got a number of other things that are really interesting. Mithril is certainly interesting. You know, you're seeing all the hard work and the peer reviewing come to fruition today moving forwards.
It takes a look at the distribution of tokens, and from a source of random numbers, it's able to hold an election and create slot leaders. Now, these slot leaders functionally do the exact same thing that a miner would do in Bitcoin. So this is basically the same as a person who discovers a block, wins a block in Bitcoin. But the difference is that it doesn't require the extensive computational resources that Bitcoin requires to construct a block. And as a consequence, this system is considerably cheaper to run, even though we still have similar security guarantees that Bitcoin currently enjoys. So it's a major advancement. But the other really interesting thing is that these slot leaders don't have to just maintain.
Here we go, guys. This is it. I apologize for this being a little bit long, but this is it.
This system is considerably cheaper to run, even though we still have similar security guarantees that Bitcoin currently enjoys. So it's a major advancement. But the other really interesting thing is that these slot leaders don't have to just maintain a single block and a single chain. They can actually maintain other blocks and other chains. Because the cost of constructing a block is so low, it's actually now tractable to talk about consensus over a range of blockchains instead of a single chain. Furthermore, epochs perhaps could even be run in parallel. So instead of having one epoch run and then another epoch run, one could develop a system using Ouroboros where epochs run in parallel and transactions are partitioned accordingly. What this effectively means is as you gain more users and your users gain more capabilities, these slot leaders will be able to maintain more types of blockchains and also run transaction processing for blockchains in parallel. This is a major advancement. The other cool thing is that Ouroboros has very rigorous security standards in terms of its theoretical foundations as well as its implementation.
We'll leave that there, but you get what I'm trying to say here. And this is something that I have to admit, guys, I don't think I really fully understood until recently. I had Sebastian from Multimedia, DC Spark, and Pima on recently to talk to me about the layer 2 space, Cardano, a broader scope of things. Please go and check that interview out if you've not seen it already. But this is the magic of Cardano. It's Ouroboros. It can solve scalability. Look at Hydra. You take the traffic onto a layer 2, and then you reroute it back to Cardano with the same sort of standard of security that you'd get running all these transactions on the layer 1. But you don't need to do that and clog up the layer 1 because you can do it on a layer 2. If you think about interoperability, and I've done this time and time again, and we'll get the old rectangles out. If you think about this blockchain that has certain parameters and can only do so much, well, it doesn't really need to do a lot. The only and real main thing that Cardano's layer 1 needs to do is be secure. Because you can build, if you have that trust in place and that sort of foundation, you can do all sorts with it. If we talk about interoperability, you could essentially run a trustless or figure out how to build trustless bridges by running essentially another blockchain, but doing it on Ouroboros that's compatible with other blockchains and monitors and keeps the state of the other blockchains. You know, and you can, the possibilities here, guys, are absolutely endless. You know, this could be an EVM chain. So builders can now utilize and build and interact with the underlying Cardano layer 1 and everything that it has to offer, but allow developers to build EVM chains. You can have Hydra, which tackles scalability. A really interesting one is you can have a chain that acts as an on-ramp and an off-ramp to the traditional financial world, which includes things like KYC. This could be this chain, and then you're connected to the broader financial world. And you can continue to do this. Apologies for the childlike draw. And of course, these are all connected. A very simple idea of a blockchain. But this is what Cardano was built to do. And actually this, being a fan of Ethereum and looking into Ethereum, there's a massive, you already have more taking place on the layer 2s in Ethereum than you do the layer 1s, like Ethereum. The thing with this is, Cardano already was built with this in mind. And you don't need that much more complexity in regards to solving these problems, because Ouroboros does a lot of it. These stake pool operators, which I'm one of, by the way, guys, I've had a pool since 2001. If anybody wants to join my stake pool and stake with me, please do consider it. All in is the ticker. It's my official stake pool. We are now minting blocks regularly. The limits are really not there in regards to what this can do. And we see a lot more traffic now on layer 2s for Ethereum. This is also going to be the same for Cardano, but Cardano was really built for this. And you can solve storage, data, scalability, which is kind of an umbrella term for all of those, with this. And you already have the mechanism and the validators like myself to do that and to keep the chain in a decentralized, secure, scalable, immutable fashion. This is huge, and this is the concept of Cardano. Let me know in the comments section, guys, and I don't really think I understood this. I kind of saw it as, you know, just this layer 1 was going to do everything. I don't think there's many layer 1s out there that are actually planning on doing everything. How can you possibly? You know, there's limits, and, you know, you've got this blockchain trilemma of scalability, security, and sustainability, or decentralization, I should say. You usually have to sacrifice one for the other. Whereas Cardano said, okay, well, we'll just focus on security, and then we can do different things on different chains, but use that. It's very similar to Polkadot's model of the relay chain. And you have these plug-in layer 1s that, you know, and this is the chain. And you've got XCM that allows them to talk to one another. Or perhaps Cosmos, which is this, you know, you want to think of them as planets almost. And with IBC, you can create routes so they can connect. You know, this is the concepts are similar, but the ways of achieving it are vastly, vastly different. This is Cardano. And again, the good news is, guys, we're still on this layer here. And people are building the layer 2s, but the main focus is still on the layer 1 and getting it right and secure. You're gonna, and do not take this as investment advice. Absolutely not. What I choose to do is what I choose to do. You know, I'm an investor in Cardano and I believe in it over the long term. You're here. Where do you think it's going to be when all of this is running and billions of dollars are running on it? And maybe there is that gap with the traditional financial world. It's very, very interesting. So that's all I've got for you guys. Bit of a different video, short and sweet. I've got a lot on today. However, I really wanted to release this video, get it out for you guys, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. In regards to the price, guys, we've covered it pretty rigorously. Please, if you're not a regular viewer of my daily cryptocurrency market updates, do go and give them a watch, because we cover the price in a lot more detail. But ultimately, I think Cardano is heading to the upside along with the rest of the cryptocurrency market. And this potentially is the end of the bear market. And we've been saying that since, you know, really the start of the year, but officially in terms of putting out buys and stuff like that, the 5th of January, being largely right after sitting out the market for the majority of last year. So I do think Cardano's heading to the upside. But really, I'm, in terms of an investor, very excited for the future that I think Cardano's got ahead of it. That's all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, like us, appreciate it, so as a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next.